If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over. Move forward.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 4th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon, high 32. Tonight and overnight, a few clouds, low 18. And then Thursday, sunshine, high 33. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 26 partly cloudy in Hampton Bays out on Long Island. It's 22 and cloudy in Pennington over in New Jersey. And it's 19 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
So few clues in the search for Savannah Guthrie's mom. The husband of a woman found in plastic bags in Brooklyn speaks out. The sad goodbye to a Nassau County police officer begins today. Governor Hochul, Bruce Blakeman slap each other around on the campaign trail. And how would you rate the subway bathroom? Would you even go into one? 501, I bet not many of you would. Police looking into the authenticity of this alleged ransom note that demands payment for the release of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother.
The note was originally sent to TMZ on Tuesday and demands a specific amount of Bitcoin in the millions of dollars. TMZ verified the Bitcoin address as real, and the note allegedly has a deadline for the ransom. Law enforcement hasn't yet confirmed the note's authenticity. Nancy Guthrie went missing in southern Arizona on Sunday after police say she was abducted from her home. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So far, police not saying a whole lot about this case, not giving us what they really might know, whether this ransom note is real. Savannah Guthrie's mother abducted from her southern Arizona home, her life in jeopardy. She doesn't have the medicine she needs. It's part of the update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, who said it's not known if the 84-year-old was targeted, if this was a random crime. Now, this is what they were saying yesterday, just at the same time that TMZ got a hold of this ransom note that was sent to them saying that they were holding Savannah Guthrie's mother and they wanted millions in Bitcoin.
We do believe that Nancy was taken from her home against her will, and that's where we're at.
Okay, so Guthrie's home, they found some DNA there. Evidence points to that potential suspects, more than one. She was reported missing when she failed to show at church on Sunday. She needs these daily medications to survive. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie absent, no surprise, from the Today Show since her mom's disappearance.
It's like I said earlier, we're looking at all the leads, and we don't know. We're going to assume both sides of that.
Now, if you believe what the police are saying to the press, is they don't have much to go on, and I'm sure they've looked over this note, ransom note, to see if it's legit.
We have someone's life who is in jeopardy, and so job number one is we got to find her, and we got to work hard to do that.
And Savannah Guthrie's husband, he was speaking out last night. He told Page 6, this makes sense, that he feels useless in this search because there's not much he can do to help his wife and their family find their mother. 503, let's bring it back home. NYPD releasing body camera video from a police-involved shooting in Queens amid some questions from Mayor Mamdani over the response. So the parents of 22-year-old Jabez Chakraborty, let me get that right, Chakraborty, called 911 on the morning of January 26, saying their son was in emotional distress and that he needed medical attention. So NYPD cops arrive at this house just a few minutes after they make that 911 call. And then we see the body camera video that was released yesterday by police that shows Jabez looking at the officers when they come into his house and then charging at them with a knife. Here's what it sounded like on the body camera video that they released yesterday. And that's shots that you heard were fired from the police as Jabaz charged at them with what was a pretty large knife. We've seen pictures of it. The NYPD describing the scene yesterday.
The armed male was able to push through the closed door and continue to advance toward officers with the kitchen knife in hand. At this point, officers discharged their weapon at the armed male.
Okay, so there's been lots of questions over the years about police response to people who are mentally ill or having mental health issues at that moment. Mayor Mamdani has this idea that's not popular, by the way, for sure with the NYPD, is sending social workers into scenes like this instead of NYPD cops. Here he was talking about it yesterday.
Jabez has lived with schizophrenia for many years, and this situation underscores just how urgently we need a different and more effective mental health response system that will be safer for New Yorkers who struggle with mental health concerns, for their families, and for police officers.
Now, Jabaz today on a ventilator in the hospital. The mayor's proposal heavily criticized, especially by police who say that what would have happened if you had sent social workers into that same scene and he charged those social workers with a knife and they had no protection, which I think is the obvious question. But the mayor doubling down that social workers need to arrive at the scene, especially when mental health issues are at stake. 5:05. Police thankfully reuniting this young girl who was found on Fordham Road up in the Bronx all alone overnight, like between 10 and 13 years old. They didn't specify. Workers at this neighborhood market say this young girl broke into the plastic covering outside the market to stay warm, and they were trying to figure out exactly who she was.
It upset me because I got 7 kids myself. I have 3 boys of my own, and I wouldn't let them out of my sight.
That's awful. It's so cold outside.
All right, so she was taken to the hospital yesterday. Police sent us pictures of the girls. They were trying to figure out whose family she belonged to. The good news, the update is they were able to find her family yesterday. She's back home with them. Now, whether that family's going to face any charges or how the girl got away, that part of the story we just don't know. The bathrooms in city subways, you won't be surprised to hear, really stink.
Subway bathrooms in New York City are getting failing marks. Subway bathrooms are often dirty, unhygienic, and unusable. MTA Inspector General Daniel Court's report shows 23 out of 27 bathrooms lacked at least one basic amenity, like toilet paper or soap. 1 out of 4 had missing toilet seats. Broken stall locks were a big issue, too. Court says NYC Transit has accepted most of the recommendations he's made to improve the underground bathrooms. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
WABC News Time 5:07. Anthony Echevarria is speaking out this morning after his wife, 39-year-old Michelle Montgomery, was found dead on Sunday inside a NYCHA complex. This is a story we were telling you about on Monday. She was found, her body in plastic bags by maintenance workers in the basement of this building. So here's her husband, and he says he has no idea what she was doing in that building, that she had left on Saturday night to go out with the friends, and that was the last he had heard of her. He spoke to News 12.
It's crazy. I don't think it's real. I think she's going to come through that door. I can't understand why she was there.
So a memorial sits outside this building on Bushwick Avenue where police say Montgomery's body was found in those garbage bags in a compactor room. A maintenance crew cleaned the compactor room on Tuesday while investigators were back at the scene, and her husband talking to police, telling them everything he knew about where he thought she was going on Saturday night.
I trust her judgment 110. I don't even look past it and go investigate who's up in and wild. Because I trust her judgment. I trust how she moves.
Echevarria says Montgomery was a great mom. She would make holiday gift bags for neighborhood children, has 4 kids, the youngest, and this is just awful, just 10 months old. He says he has no idea who's behind the crime, who may have had it out for his wife.
Everything was normal, but she went about her Saturday normal, watched a couple of movies, talked on the phone, kids gave her a hug, baby, safe, I love you. That was it. That was it. You will get justice. I promise that.
Medical examiner's office saying saying that they've conducted an examination on Monday, but have not released the official cause of death. 5:09, let's go out to Long Island, where detectives there had $20 million worth of cocaine on display yesterday as they announced one of the largest busts in Nassau County history.
Narcotics officers say they conducted a stakeout at the Holiday Inn on Sunnyside Avenue in Plainview and observed what they said was a sale of drugs. Detectives approached a vehicle and found some cocaine in the front seat, allegedly. 40-year-old Michael Vieira and 35-year-old Daniel Santana arrested. They're both from Puerto Rico and lived in Florida. Previously, they have previous homicide convictions in Puerto Rico. Cops seized more than 750 pounds of cocaine in the bust. James Flippin, 477 WABC News.
From Long Island, let's head over to Madison Square Garden, where a Doberman pinscher took top prize at the Westminster Dog Show last night.
Her name is Penny. The 4-year-old Doberman was awarded Best in Show at the 150th Annual Westminster Dog Show. It's the fourth time in that span a Doberman has taken top honors. Coda, the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, was named Reserve Best in Show or First Runner-Up. They beat out other group winners, including an Afghan Hound, a Maltese, a Lhasa Apso, an Old English Sheepdog, and a Smooth Fox Terrier. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
WABC News Time 510. Let's go down to D.C. President Trump signing a spending package that reopened the federal government yesterday.
I probably won't hold this up. And I think holding up one little page doesn't do it justice. In there, it's a lot of stuff, but it's signed.
The bill provides over $1 trillion in government funding, but not for Homeland Security. DHS will operate on a 2-week stopgap bill while lawmakers negotiate reforms to immigration enforcement operations.
It continues to fund deportation flights that are removing dangerous illegal aliens from our country. It continues historically successful efforts to reduce crime in our nation's capital. We have a very safe city right now.
And the reason he was able to sign off on that bill, the House narrowly passing the measure yesterday.
Minnesota, their crime because of us, because we've taken out thousands of criminals. Their crime is down, not because of anybody else. It's because of us.
Most Democrats voted against that bill yesterday. 5:11, the Clintons will sit for depositions in the GOP-led House probe of Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Democrats say this is a distraction.
They're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times.
That's California Congressman Ted Lieu, who says the Republicans trying to distract the public from the fact that the president shows up repeatedly in these newly released files.
In those files, there's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children.
It's going to be awfully interesting to hear what the former president, former first lady have to say about their associations with the Epsteins. President Trump has said over and over again that whatever has showed up in the Epstein files does not tie him to anything that is awful or bad. But as you heard from Ted Lieu there, he's pushing back against that idea. 5:12, the White House confirms the U.S. shot down an Iranian drone that approached the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea.
CENTCOM did make the decision to shoot down that Iranian drone. It was unmanned. It was acting aggressively towards our USS Lincoln.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt there says the action was necessary to secure the safety of American personnel. President Trump has repeatedly threatened to take military action against Iran.
CENTCOM acted both appropriately and necessarily to protect our U.S. personnel and equipment in the region.
Meanwhile, Iran's president has instructed the country's foreign minister to pursue fair and equitable negotiations with the U.S. ahead of an expected meeting later this week with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Correspondent Richard Engel has more.
Iranians here in the commercial heart of Tehran are hopeful that a deal with the United States can be reached and that it will change the dynamic here, avoid another war and improve people's lives.
President Trump says that he is committed to peace and committed to a deal if Iran is serious about making a deal. WABC News Time 519, President Trump doubling down on his call for the federal government to nationalize elections. The president told reporters in the Oval Office yesterday that if states can't run elections fairly, then the federal government should step in.
Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Pennsylvania. Take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta. Look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And And the federal government should not allow that.
The comments come after the president talked to a podcaster yesterday saying that Republicans should take over the management of elections in 15 states.
If a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway.
And the president says some states run their elections horribly, made renewed claims of past election fraud. Some Senate Republicans warning that Chinese e-cigarettes could pose national security risks.
Senators, including Tom Tillis and Lindsey Graham, sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer to address their concerns. The GOP lawmakers claim that these highly sophisticated vapes could be used by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on Americans and to launder money for Mexican cartels. Beyond the potential for espionage, the lawmakers pointed out that profits from these vapes could fund military and technological initiatives in China that oppose American interests. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Down in South Texas, 2 people held at the Homeland Security's largest immigrant facility detention center have tested positive for measles. You can imagine that's freaking people out.
This is a center where individuals are moving in and out, being transported to different places.
And they're worried this thing could spiral out of control.
When you're in these close proximity settings, that disease can spread amongst individuals pretty rapidly. We have to think about our surrounding communities.
The San Antonio Health Department says it's involved trying to figure out how they can contain the outbreak, figure out who's been moved in and out of the facility over the last couple days. While we're down in Texas, Democrats feeling emboldened by this week's victory in a state Senate runoff election. They beat a Republican in a very red pocket of Texas.
While this district is majority white, there is a significant Latino population.
That's Catherine Fisher with the Democratic Party. She says Latinos came out strong for the Democratic candidate in Tarrant County, which is right near Dallas. She thinks with the voting bloc's continued support, they could potentially win some statewide races. They're feeling that maybe things are going to go their way.
Those 3 congressional seats in the Valley are extremely in play.
Even Republican Senator Ted Cruz saying yesterday that he's concerned by those election results, saying that the seat that was won was a place where Trump carried that district by 17 points last November, or a year ago in November. 5:22, Disney has selected its next CEO after a year-long succession saga.
When you wish upon a star. Josh DeMuro will take over for current CEO Bob Iger effective March 18th. The 54-year-old DeMuro has been with the company since 1998 when he got his start at Disneyland. He's currently the chairman of Disney Experiences, the division that includes the company's theme parks and cruises. Iger is departing the company after returning in 2022 following the ouster of his previous successor, Bob Chapek. I'm Michael Kastner.
5:23, if you feel a rumble in your tummy and fancy some potato chips, good news, Frito-Lay has your back and apparently your stomach.
Doritos, Cheetos, anyone? Head to a bodega near you. They're coming down in price. New York State-based Pepsi owns the snack firm, which is based in Plano, Texas, and Pepsi's slashing the price of some of its potato snacks by a healthy 15%. Pepsi earnings beat Wall Street expectations on Tuesday, but thanks mainly to their sodas, not their chips. Customers apparently fed up with years of price hikes, which Pepsi used to offset the rising price of packaging. Sodas went up in price too, but customers still bought them, with the trend beating the snacks. Activist investor Elliott's behind Pepsi's move, pushing to promote some brands and junk others. In the meantime, I've got mine. I paid the full price. John Tarrant, 77, WABC News.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. U.S. skiing legend Lindsey Vonn says she still plans to compete in the Winter Olympics, which begin on Friday, even though she has a ruptured ACL. That would seem like it would be almost impossible, but she provided an update after suffering the injury in her final race in some games last Friday.
My knee is not swollen, and with the help of a knee brace, I am confident that I can compete on Sunday.
Vonn crashed while landing a jump in the World Cup race in Switzerland and was seen limping and keeping weight off her knee after.
I know what my chances were before the crash, and I know my chances aren't the same as it stands today, but I know there's still a chance. And as long as there's a chance, I will try. I've been in this position before. I know how to handle it. I've been on the world stage before. I know how to handle that. So everything together, even though I don't want to be in this position. I know how to be in this position, and I can handle it.
Yeah, she's really amazing. 41 years old. She returned to skiing in 2024 after retiring in 2019. She won 3 Olympic medals in her career, including a gold medal in 2010. While we're talking Olympics, speed skating Olympic champion Aaron Jackson, bobsled Olympian Frank DeDuca will be carrying the U.S. flag during the Winter Olympics opening ceremony. DeDuca talking about the opportunity.
It's the utmost honor, and I'm very excited and honored.
They were selected by a vote of fellow Team USA athletes.
Oh, it means so much. I ran into one of my teammates in the cafeteria yesterday, and he was like, I've been voting for you like crazy.
The opening ceremony will be held Friday in Milan. The NFL continues to look for international growth. Commissioner Roger Goodell in San Francisco for the Super Bowl, talking about next season and future seasons, says a regular season game going to be played in Mexico City next year.
It's the ambition that we have to be a global sport, but it's also the demand that we're having. We're hearing from cities all over the world that want to host these games and that really want to get more American football. We have a really big announcement from my standpoint is we're heading back to Mexico City in December, which I think is wonderful for our fans in Mexico.
Yeah, now they haven't said which teams will play there. Goodell says New Orleans Saints will be playing in Paris, one of 9 international games next season.
Paris is a new market. We're going back to Munich. We're going to be in London, of course.
And these games, by the way, they sell out, and it's not just expats, it's people who live in those cities. NFL now scheduled to play 9 international games during next season, including Melbourne, Rio de Janeiro, Munich, Madrid, and London.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour. Talking the news with Noam Laden. All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now, Talking the News with Noam on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me, 537. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 4th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon, high 32. Tonight and overnight, a few clouds, low 18. And then Thursday, sunshine, high 33. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 26, partly cloudy in Hampton Bays out on Long Island. It's 22 and cloudy in Pennington over in New Jersey. And it's 19 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:39. The sad goodbye begins today to Nassau County Police Officer Patricia Espinoza. She was driving to work on Saturday morning when she was hit by another car, somebody who blew through a red light, was allegedly drunk behind the wheel, and killed the 42-year-old. So today will be her wake. Her funeral is tomorrow. And it was her husband. Boy, is he brave. He sat down for an interview with News 12 yesterday to talk about his beloved wife. His name is Francisco Malaga. He's also a Nassau County police officer. And he said one of the reasons he fell in love with Patricia was because the kind of heart she had was amazing. He said their love story began about 3 years ago when Officer Espinoza invited Malaga to a party.
Going through rough times then, and I got to the party, and there she was, and she was amazing. And that's when I was like, I fell in love with her. One of the reasons why I fell in love with her, because the kind of heart she had was just amazing.
Officer Malaga said his wife would go out of her way to help people, including those in the police department she loved, even strangers. Officer Espinoza's daughter, Mia, she's not even 2 years old. And Officer Malaga says it breaks his heart to know that his 2-year-old will not have a mom that she grows up with.
It breaks my heart to know that I have a child that now has to be going without a mom. And we had so many plans, and now everything is just taken away from us.
And of course, they asked him the question, how will you remember your wife? And how do you put that into a sentence? But here's what he had to say.
I want her to remember that person who will be there for you at all times.
Yeah, so flags are at half-mast through the funeral on Thursday across Nassau County. Again, the wake is today. The funeral for the officer, Patricia Espinosa, that'll take place tomorrow. While we're out on Long Island, almost 700 pounds of cocaine found in Nassau County in what is being called one of the largest busts in the county's history. Police officers were staking out a parking lot at a Holiday Inn in Plainview, and when they saw what they believed a sale was going down, a drug sale, they raced in, approached this truck, and then they found a lot more cocaine than they ever thought they would.
They got the two individuals out. They placed them under arrest. They opened up the trunk of the pickup truck, and this is what you got, 312 kilos of cocaine.
Yeah, so that's 687 pounds of cocaine that was found in the car. These two people no doubt thought they were going to become incredibly wealthy selling that on the streets. DA Ann Donnelly, the Nassau County District Attorney, says thank God police officers busted them.
Looking at it all here in this auditorium right now is staggering. The $20 million street value, I think, is a conservative number. When this gets cut up and sold, these individuals would have been very, very rich.
And the reason she called it staggering is they placed those bricks of cocaine on a table for the press during this press conference yesterday, and it was unbelievable to see. Cops arrested 40-year-old Michael Vieira, 35-year-old Daniel Santana. They were arraigned on charges of criminal possession of a controlled substance. Both of those charges carry 20 years behind bars. And Long Islanders say, thank God they made this bust, because those drugs would likely be on the streets today.
Very scary. Yeah, I mean, you would hope that there would be no drugs, let alone that amount of drugs.
Yeah, those two behind bars until they get a meeting before a judge. 5:43. One more story out of Long Island. Police now identifying a 79-year-old man who was found dead lying in the snow just steps away from his apartment complex yesterday. Bruno Castro was found out back of his apartment building. This is on Grand Avenue in Baldwin. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now police trying to figure out exactly what happened to them, but what neighbors say they know happened to him is they say everything, he had a routine. So he had a aide that was with him during the entire day. That aide would leave at 8 o'clock at night, and that's when then Bruno Castro would walk to a nearby bodega to buy scratch-off tickets, and they think maybe he just fell in the snow. Here's a neighbor who said she watched his daily routine.
He comes out and goes to the corner to buy his scratch-offs. So he must have tried that last night, but he hasn't been well. So he was all alone. So he must have fell, I guess, outside.
Yeah, and that theory seems to be working with police, too. They believe that maybe he just got outside, was unable to make it back to the apartment. Of course, snow everywhere, slippery as well.
How sad is this? That is sad. That is sad. But this is a senior community, and we're all used to this.
Yeah, police have not released an official cause of death. That'll be determined by the Nassau County Medical Examiner. In a moment, we'll head out to the campaign trail with Governor Hochul and Bruce Blakeman. We'll do that in just a moment. Verse 5:45. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noam. I'll start out here in D.C. Karl Anthony Towns had 19 points and 14 rebounds, and the Knicks rolled to their seventh straight victory, 132-101 over the Wizards. Mikal Bridges scored 23. Jalen Brunson added 21, although the Knicks did lose Josh Hart to a sprained left ankle in the third quarter. He did not return. The Knicks went 2-9 from December 31st to January 19th, but they've rebounded impressively from that slump during this 7-game run. They have wins by 54, 27, 30, and 31. They led by as much as 41 last night. Up next for the Knicks, they'll host the Denver Nuggets tonight at 7 p.m. In Brooklyn, the Nets lost 124-109 to the visiting LA Lakers. Michael Porter Jr. had 21 points and 10 rebounds for the Nets, who lost for the 9th time in 10 games. Daron Sharp finished with 19 and 14. Up next for Brooklyn, they'll visit the Magic in Orlando tomorrow night. In other NBA news, the LA Clippers traded 11-time All-Star guard James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday for guard Darius Garland and a second.
How many teams does he play for, Harden? Does he play for almost every NBA team at this point?
The Rockets, the Nets, the Clippers,
Sixers.
the Sixers. Man, who else?
Sid is saying he's still good, and he's got a great.
He is still good.
His beard is good.
He is still
manicured nicely.
No, this is a good move for the Cavs.
How old is he?
36.
Oh, okay.
Oklahoma City.
Yes, of course.
So that's 18.
Oklahoma City is where he started.
Right.
That's where he became the beard.
Houston, Brooklyn Nets.
Right, of course.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Clippers.
Yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's 7 teams, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of teams.
Well, it's not a few, I'll tell you that much. So the Cavs, they get a little better. And as for the Clippers, they get a 2-time All-Star in Garland, the 26-year-old, so he can help now and in the future. To the ice and Elmont.
You only if you're like a journeyman, you go to like 7 or 8 teams. Not if you're a star like he is. Just odd. Could he not get along with people?
Well, I mean, in today's NBA, it's very much so. I want to go here and I want to team up with this person and that person.
Yeah, but not
and
7 teams.
No, I'm with you.
teams.
But that's the reason he came to Brooklyn was to team up on that super team, and then. He goes out to Houston and
but I think
kind of does the same thing over there.
He couldn't get along with everybody. I remember that.
Right? No, I don't.
Philly was the same thing. He had a hard time getting along with people.
I don't think he's ever been the best teammate, and that's probably why he's been jumping ship a lot. Noam Laden. He did have a good relationship though with the Clippers. Had a no trade clause, and then they came to an agreement yesterday in a situation that made both parties happy. There, out to the ice in Elmont. Horvat scored his second goal of the game. 52 seconds in overtime, and the Islanders beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-4. Up next for them, they'll head over to New Jersey to face off with the Devils tomorrow night. Speaking of those Devils, they got blanked 3-0 at home by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it is Super Bowl week, obviously. 6:30 p.m. comes Sunday evening. Seahawks 4.5-point favorites still against the Patriots. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 550. New York, New Jersey now suing the Trump administration over its refusal to pay its tab for construction of the Gateway Tunnel project under the Hudson.
The suit, filed Tuesday in the Southern District of New York, seeks to force the Trump Transportation Department to stop its block of $15 billion for construction of the long-delayed train tunnel. The suit is separate from a similar one brought by the Gateway Development Commission this week. New York Governor Kathy Hochul accused Trump of trying to steal the money. New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill said every time the Trump administration gets involved, quote, costs go up and working people suffer. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Up in Albany, Governor Kathy Hochul highlighting her proposal to bring down car insurance rates for New Yorkers for cracking down on fraud.
You can have a situation where someone causes the accident intentionally and gets a huge personal injury payout. So we're putting the brakes on that fraud. Enough is enough.
The governor visiting an auto repair shop in Albany County yesterday where she explained that huge payouts for staged crashes have driven up car insurance rates, which are among New York the highest in the nation.
I want to make it easier to prosecute those who are involved in staged accidents. Again, that number, if you look statistically across the nation, we're becoming one of the highest.
Yeah, in fact, insurance carriers reported nearly 44,000 incidents of suspected motor vehicle insurance fraud last year, an 80% increase since 2020. And while we're talking about the governor, who's obviously making those promises in a campaign year, and I'm not highlighting that Democrats, Republicans, they all do that when they're running for re-election. She claims that she has selected her running mate as she prepares to face off against Republican Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman come November. So who exactly the governor has chosen to replace her current Lieutenant Governor, Antonio Delgado, who, by the way, is running against her in the Democratic primary, will remain a mystery. The governor, though, yesterday refuting reports that emerged from the state capitol in recent weeks that she was having trouble selecting a new number 2 because nobody wanted the job. But she says that's not true.
There's only been one offer made and one person accepted. Before the end of the convention, all will be told. But no, I understand people let us know they don't want to go through vetting for whatever reason. We cast a wide net.
Now, it would be the governor's third lieutenant governor in 5 years before Delgado, who's running against her now. There was the first lieutenant governor, remember him, Brian Benjamin, who resigned following what has now been a dismissed federal indictment. So Hochul will go into the Democratic convention on Friday with fresh poll numbers in her race against Blakeman. This new Siena University poll that came out this week shows her leading Bruce Blakeman, and it's a huge number, 54 to 28 8%. Now, Bruce Blakeman, he was up in Albany as well yesterday, says he saw those poll numbers, but he says it's not all bad news for him.
We've seen hundreds and thousands of people leave New York State under Governor Hochul's tenure as governor. We've got to stop that. We've seen the businesses leave.
Now, he pointed to a portion of that same poll that said 51% of those surveyed would prefer someone other than Hochul as good news for his campaign. Immigration, the ICE crackdowns, Hochul believes will play a big part in this campaign, and she was speaking about that yesterday. She says she has not spoken directly with President Trump recently about the ICE crackdown in New York, but she did have a message for the president.
This has been an epic overreach in the way they've conducted themselves. And it's not just ICE agents. For some reason, Border Patrol. I'd rather they be up on the northern border making sure I don't get drug traffickers coming in from Canada.
And the Nassau County executive bragging yesterday that his county, Nassau County, has the most comprehensive agreement with ICE in the nation.
We have it with our sheriff's department and our police department. And guess what? We haven't had any issues. We haven't had any problems. Recently, 46 illegal migrants with criminal records were removed from my county.
Yeah, okay, the two going after each other yesterday on the campaign trail as that campaign just starts to heat up. Of course, it's only February. Drug maker Novartis and Sandoz subsidiaries served with a lawsuit yesterday filed by New Jersey and 40 other states accusing the drug maker of taking steps to fix drug prices.
The complaint accuses Novartis and its Sandoz subsidiaries of systematically working with generic manufacturers to fix prices, divvy up markets, and mess with the bidding process for 31 generic drugs, in effect, driving up their costs. The state attorneys general argue this amounted to a conspiracy that inflated prices in the health insurance market, Medicare and Medicaid, and for people having to pay for their prescription drugs. I'm Levon Putney.
The largest anti-hunger organization in New Jersey going to host its annual Super Bowl event this weekend.
Saturday at its Hillside warehouse, the Community Food Bank of New Jersey expects upward of 100 kids. It's a soup drive with the football theme.
Beautiful soup. Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of soup.
Everyone encouraged to bring canned soup to help feed neighbors in need. There will also be snacks and fun activities for kids. The Community Food Bank notes it's the leading source of nourishing food for 800 food pantries in the Garden State. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
You always crack me up, Jimmy James. If you've ever sprinted through a subway station in search of a bathroom, a new audit will probably make you not want to even seek one out. I mean, have you ever actually used a subway bathroom? I would think you might feel like you had to be desperate to use one. But so what they found is this in this MTA Inspector General report that came out yesterday that some of these bathrooms, they had toilets with no seats. Think like a prison bathroom, like a metal toilet, but no seat on it. So like who in their right mind would want to sit down on one of that? The Inspector General says some of the bathrooms were well equipped. They went into like 21 just surprise visits to see what they could find. But I think what the good news is for the MTA is a lot of times, by the way, they didn't find toilet paper. There was no soap in some of those bathrooms. But when you talk to subway riders, they say it doesn't matter. There's not a chance they'd be caught dead in one of those bathrooms.
And I bet you there wouldn't be any toilet paper. They'll be doing more stuff in that bathroom than people using the bathroom. There'll be people sleeping in there, just doing nasty stuff, taking baths in there.
And do their drugs in them. You ever been into one of these bathrooms? They got needles everywhere.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I don't know if that's true. In fact, the MTA inspector said litter was not an issue. Graffiti was. Stall doors, some bathrooms would not lock.
I'm blown away that they're even open right now because they're usually all the time having to be more clean and not let like homeless people get into it and like for drugs and do drugs and stuff like that.
Inspectors found 27 of the 32 bathrooms they visited were open, relatively clean, somewhat functional, while 5 of them were closed. Again, I point out, I don't know that a lot of riders use those bathrooms.
No, I've used them.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of dirt or anything
really?
like
All
that.
right.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
If it were dire necessity, maybe. I make it a point that I don't reach that point.
Yeah.
Safety and cleanliness. I would never use it.
Yeah, I think most riders would hold it in until they get to their final destination. 5:57, traffic transit on the 7s. Here's Joe Nolan.
when I was having my prostate problem. I went in there, the one on the number 1 line at 34th Street. Oh,
what was going on in there?
Everything.
Oh,
it was.
You're kidding.
I said, I'd rather just pee in my pants than go in there. I mean, that's how bad it was.
Wow.
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
And that's a main one, 34th Street.
Yeah, it was 34th on the number 1 line, right at Penn Station. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, here we go. As you begin to travel eastbound on I-78 coming into exit 45 in Summit,
you didn't actually pee in your pants, though.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
People at Channel 7 would have been very unhappy with that. Yes.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're thinking about changing schools, why wait? At Manhattan University, love those guys. You don't have to start over. With transfer-friendly pathways, your credits count, and you keep moving forward. From day one, you're part of Jasper Nation, preparing for the real world. And with New York City just a train away, opportunity is everywhere. Ready to move forward without missing a step? Visit manhattan.edu/transfer and enroll today. Manhattan University. Don't start over, move forward.